I got a technical for basically being mad at myself because I missed the three and then I went and hit the backboard. And he told me it was disrespectful to the game of basketball. But I think he fired me up to continue to play a lot harder. I thought we got a lot better after he did that, so I want to thank him.
What happens when the WNBA's brightest new star runs into a rulebook that suddenly stops enforcing itself? On the surface, Caitlin Clark's rookie year read like a fairy tale. Packed arenas, TV numbers the league hadn't seen in 20 years, and a merch line that overwhelmed fanatic servers. But rewind the footage and something odd stands out. Every time Clark crossed half court, the whistle seemed to disappear. Today, we're breaking down the tape, the stats, and the front office politics that made 2024 the most contested officiating season in WNBA history, and why the changes coming in 2025 might be either right on time or way too late. 15 minutes after Indiana drafted Clark, the team's website crashed. Ticket demand didn't just top franchise records. It overwhelmed the league's own systems. Broadcasts that used to pull 200,000 viewers were suddenly closing in on 2 million. 9 different TV milestones fell in 8 weeks. Local economists joked that the Fever's new $78 million practice facility should be renamed the Clark Bank, since merchandise and sponsorship money alone looked ready to cover it. From Indianapolis to Seattle, ushers gave the same nightly announcement. No walk-up tickets, every seat taken. But while fans marvel at her logo threes, almost nobody clocked the hidden cost Clark was paying for all that attention. Picture the dream scenario for any league. A 22-year-old rookie steps onto the court, and ratings jump 170% in a single year, the largest year-over-year increase the WNBA has ever recorded. One analyst calculated that Clark alone was responsible for roughly 26.5% of the league's total economic output last season. The effect rippled outward fast. Courtside seats for her, just a tune-up preseason exhibition against Brazil and Iowa, were reselling for $4,000. The Nike store at Gamebridge Fieldhouse broke for single-day sales records in 1 month alone. You'd think a league sitting on that kind of gold mine would go out of its way to protect its new asset. Instead, most nights the loudest sound was Clark hitting the floor, followed by silence from the officials. The numbers only tell part of the story. The tape tells the rest. Basketball is built to reward aggressive drives. Contact draws whistles. Whistles draw free throws. Clark ranked in the top 5 in usage rate, yet averages 3.7 free throw attempts a game, the lowest mark of any high-usage guard in 10 years. The reason? The whistle simply wasn't coming. And the flagrant foul numbers hit different when you see them plainly. 17% of every flagrant foul called in 2024 was committed against Clark, and 4 out of every 5 of those came from a single opponent, the Chicago Sky. The double standard peaked on August 18th. Clark slapped the base of the backboard after burying a deep three, instant technical foul, with the referee calling it disrespectful to the game. 2 possessions later, she took a shoulder to the ribs. No call. By mid-season, defenders were bodying her 30 feet from the basket in the open floor. It wasn't really dirty play, it was just logic. If history said the whistle wasn't coming, why not hit the rookie? That logic boiled over in 3 plays that went viral almost instantly.
And Clark. I mean, that's clearly...
On June 1st, in the Chicago-Indiana matchup, Kennedy Carter hip-checked Clark off the ball hard enough that the impact was audible on the broadcast. No call in real time. The league upgraded it to a flagrant foul a full day later, by which point the clip already had 20 million views. In Game 1 of Indiana's playoff run, an opposing defender's fingernail caught Clark's eye while reaching for a pass. She crumpled the floor with her eye already swelling, and there was no whistle, no review. That image is still circulating on social media. Then, on June 13th in Seattle, Clark made a single crossover, slowed down, and was whistled for an offensive foul on what replays showed was barely more than a graze, prompting broadcasters to literally ask on air, "Where's the foul?" 3 plays, 1 pattern, 0 protection. Fans directed their frustration at the officials, but the real explanation started long before tip-off, in cramped hotel conference rooms nowhere near a basketball court. These weren't isolated incidents. They poured fuel on a theory fans already believed, that there was one rule book.
Caitlin got called for a technical for hitting the back of the backboard, but somebody viciously clotheslined her we're not getting a call for that.
For the league's breakout rookie and a completely different one for everybody else. So, why an official step in sooner? Start with the pay. An NBA referee can clear $500,000 a year. A WNBA official earns closer to what a high school principal makes, and only for the season. That gap means most WNBA officials also work NCAA or FIBA games in the offseason just to make ends meet. A new 4-year collective bargaining agreement in 2024 bumped pay slightly and introduced daily performance feedback through the league's referee grading system, but the jobs are still seasonal and turnover stays high. Monty McCutcheon, the league's VP of referee development, admitted the WNBA's growth outpaced its officiating pipeline. Translation: exponentially more eyes on the game with the same thin crew calling it. With only 3 officials per game and limited triggers for video review, missed calls weren't rare mistakes. They were close to a statistical inevitability. And when that inevitability collides with a player who bends the geometry of the game the way Clark does, every uncalled foul becomes a headline. Closing that gap required 2 things leagues rarely commit to simultaneously: time and real investment. One billionaire owner decided both were overdue. Even while absorbing all that contact, Clark still put up a historic rookie season. Nearly 2,000 combined stats across scoring, rebounding, and assists, becoming the first rookie ever to record 100 threes and 300 assists in a season. Fans saw poise and confidence. People close to the team saw the bruises accumulate with every drive to the rim. Her free throw rate ranked 25th among guards, carrying even half her offensive workload. Michael Jordan publicly urged the league to protect its investment. Steph Curry compared her scoring range to basketball's next frontier. And yet, when Team USA finalized its Olympic roster for Paris, Clark's name wasn't on it. Officially due to lack of experience. Unofficially because some in the organization worried the media attention around her would overshadow established veterans. Stephen A. Smith, Antonio Brown, and much of NBA Twitter blasted the decision, arguing USA basketball had left enormous viewership on the table. Jordan called it short-sighted. Curry called it a marketing misstep. Charles Barkley, characteristically blunt, said heads should roll. Clark's response was simpler. She went and played golf. The controversy only added to her star power, and every hard hit she absorbed afterward became another data point in the growing protect the star debate. Even outside basketball, her gravity showed up. The LPGA's Pelican Pro-Am usually draws a modest, non-televised crowd. Clark's appearance flipped that completely. The Golf Channel rearranged its schedule to broadcast her front 9. Drone cameras tracked her practice swings, and ticket demand tripled. Inside WNBA headquarters, executives realized they had a superstar who could just as easily make another sport rich if they didn't act. Sponsors started quietly discussing multi-sport contracts, worried that golf might feel safer to Clark than a basketball court, where hits kept going uncalled. When Clark's Fever played in Dallas last May, demand was so high the game moved from the Wings' 7,000-seat home gym to the Mavericks' 20,000-seat arena. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert dubbed it the Caitlin Effect, reportedly joking that her expansion pitch deck had started writing itself. Meanwhile, the 2-time defending champion Las Vegas Aces dropped preseason ticket prices to $19 and still couldn't fill the building. Vegas sportsbooks nicknamed the swing the Clark Delta, secondary market prices moving by as much as 430% depending purely on whether Clark was in the building. It raised an uncomfortable question for the league. How do you grow sustainably if your reigning MVP can't draw half the crowd a rookie on a sub-.500 team? Sponsors watched nervously. No Clark, no surge. But a surge without real protection on the floor is one bad fall away from disaster. Every sold-out arena carried the same underlying anxiety. If the face of this boom goes down to an avoidable injury, the momentum could vanish overnight. Clark felt that pressure too, not just in the bruises, but in the quiet of her own locker room. On a podcast appearance, she admitted she'd sit in pre-game meetings unsure whether to speak up at all. Some veterans were welcoming. Others were competing with her for playing time. So how much do you lead, and how much do you wait your turn? She described her first month in the league as trying to read the room while sprinting a marathon at the same time. Progress came in small moments, a veteran teammate showing her how to absorb contact and turn it into an M1, a late-night film session where coaches rewound missed calls just to teach her counter moves instead of dwelling on the no call. Slowly, the hesitant rookie found her voice. Then came the phone
You have to be great as a ref. You have to be consistent.
call that triggered the fastest policy overhaul in league history. 12 referees promoted to full-time, year-round paid positions. A new instant replay command center modeled on the NBA's. Live review authority for contact near the basket on drives. Automatic ejections for retaliatory cheap shots. A mid-season officiating minicamp to reset consistency league-wide. And a quietly double fine for any flagrant contact on shooter. Is it enough? Players are hopeful. Clark herself joked at Media Day that she'd asked her coach to cap her at 2 technical fouls for the season. After that, lunch is on me. But underneath the joke is a real question. Can a newly professionalized officiating staff actually keep pace with a player who seems to be playing one step ahead of the sport as it currently exists? The league is booming. A rookie is rewriting the record books, and the whistle may finally be catching up. If the new officiating standards hold, Clark's second season could unlock the growth the WNBA has been chasing for years. If they don't, the league risks proving its harshest critics right, that women's basketball can capture the world's attention only to lose in the gap between a forearm, a whistle, and a call that never comes. This season, every set of eyes, from Vegas oddsmakers to 9-year-olds in replica number 22 jerseys, will be watching that small gray cylinder in the referee's mouth. Because sometimes the future of sport isn't decided by the next deep three. It's decided by the breath a referee chooses to take, or hold,